just a second. I'm going to go ahead and read over this and then just see what I come up with. Okay. How'd you hear about us?
I read about you online.
Online? Wow, that's so cool. Did you see that there are 2 Ann Webbs in town?
No, actually, I just put in skincare and your name popped right up, so I just went on and read a little bit about you in the clinic.
Oh my God, that's so cool. Did you see the Yelp reviews?
Yes, I did.
People always say they like reading the 2-star reviews even more than the 5-star reviews because I have to fight back sometimes, girl. Gotta protect my place. Okay.
Well, you had so many 5-star reviews. That's the reason why I came in to see you today.
Really? Yay! Well, Yelp's been really good to us. They've like doubled the size of our business like in the last year. It's been amazing.
There was a lot of them.
Thanks. Well, we don't advertise, so that was our first sort of a breakout in the market. So, okay, let me read through this. So you're already using our products.
Yes, I am.
So, okay, so coconut water cleanser and spearmint tea. So someone was to tell you, or did you read on the website where you can use spearmint tea to clean off makeup or then use the coconut milk as a mask?
Right. The reason why I'm using both is because sometimes I feel a little bit oily, and then sometimes I feel a little bit dry, and sometimes when I use the spearmint tea, I feel a little tight.
Yes.
So I feel like I need to kind of cycle the cleansers, a little bit to kind of get what I feel on that day.
Sure. No, that's exactly right. That's why we made so many cleansers, because we wanted to make sure that we had a cleanser for each skin type and then that they're all mix and match with.
Okay.
But just remember, like the most important thing you can do for yourself is to take the cleanser and leave it on as a mask.
Okay.
I mean, like put it on while you go watch TV. For me, it's American Idol. Last week we were at the American Idol finale.
Oh, how exciting.
My whole family. And so, but that's my show. Like when I'm watching that show, I have the cleanser on from start to finish.
And both of them are okay to use as a mask?
Yeah, so probably what I would do is I would put like the coconut water cleanser on, right? And put it all over your face, neck, and chest. And then use your spearmint tea to kind of spot treat what you're trying to use it for. Because I imagine you're using the salicylic, like what makes because of the oil.
Yes, and I feel like it really helps me control any breakouts.
Yep.
And I'm also using the lavender silk.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, good. I see that too. And you know to be careful with that product, right? Because it does feel very silky, but it's easy sometimes to go a little bit too far.
Okay.
And then you use the Ulta moisturizer.
Mhm.
Did you use that day and night?
Yes, I forgot to put something on there. I use the Suki skincare, the balancing oil.
Okay, so Suki, wow. So that product line I know very well because you probably know we're at Whole Foods, right?
Right.
And Suki came out when we were in Whole Foods. We the yellow and black, cool packaging. Right. That tells me right away that you have a skin type that can really handle essential oils because that's a really high essential oil product.
I love that product.
Okay.
It helps me kind of balance out from being, although I feel like my skin is mostly oily, I feel like I'm getting a lot of moisture from that product at night.
And it doesn't make you break out.
It doesn't make me break out, no.
That's crazy. That's awesome. Okay, great. Cool people, man. I actually got to meet those guys. Okay, so, and then you use the tinted moisturizer with SPF 70?
Yes.
So I'm guessing that's a chemical sunscreen, right?
Yep.
Brand. And your skin handles the oil from the, so it's kind of funny because you're saying, well, I use spearmint tea to handle breakouts, but a couple of the things that you're using aren't well suited for people who break out. So you kind of have like that little both sides going there. So just so you know, anything that you see like an SPF in high numbers, those could be chemical forms of sunscreen. And there aren't a whole lot of things that I'm against. People automatically assume that I'm against Botox, but I think there's certain things that are personal choice, and there's certain things that I feel that are bad for the skin. I have like my top 5 things. My first thing is extracting the skin, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in your facial, but I like to, especially if you're going to pick at your skin at home, I always say, I know it's silly, but put on some gloves. Because just the fingernails alone and the bacteria and fungus that we carry from touching so many things can make the skin so much worse and create scarring. I'm not a fan of microdermabrasion, and even in my own school, I refuse to teach it because I think it damages the skin so quickly and so fast. So if you're wondering why we don't have that service here, that's the reason. I try, if I can, to stay away from products that are mineral oil and petroleum based. I think even though it feels good on your skin now, 10 years from now you can get a lot of clogging and expansion of the pores by filling up with petroleum-based products. And another thing is chemical forms of sunscreen. So like with you have this gorgeous skin. I don't see a grainy rash or texture on it, but for a lot of people, when you're not using natural forms of sunscreen like zinc and titanium, and you're using the chemical forms, which is just a pure oil that actually creates a reaction on the skin, over time you start to develop what's called a grainy texture. And so many people are shocked whenever I'm doing their facial because I break out and I have skin issues and hormonal issues, but I feel their perfect skin without a single breakout. And they're grainy and textured, and I take their skin and let them feel the back of my skin. And they're always so shocked that even though my skin is breaking out and has issues, their skin isn't. My skin's 10 times more smooth. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And so, so one of the things I'm going to do, since you're using our products, I'm going to introduce you to a sample of our pomegranate protection.
Okay.
So it's a sunscreen, it's a moisturizer, it's an antioxidant all in one, so it's kind of cool. It helps for when you're on a tight budget, but it's totally clean. And my son is a leukemia survivor, so
Really?
yeah, so harmful chemicals are really important. Looking at the ones that are the most harmful and making sure we keep those out of our family and out of our life.
Okay.
So this is something I wanted to point out. I try to be a realist. I say pick your poisons. The poison's everywhere. You drove here in a car, right? You didn't ride a bicycle.
Right.
So, but if you can improve upon them, why not?
Okay. And I like the tinting that the SPF is giving me.
Yes.
So do you have a product that has?
We do. We have a couple. We have Rochelle Ray's moisturizer, tinted moisturizer that we love. And then there's another brand, and it's called My Face Cosmetics.
Okay.
And it's about half the price of the other moisturizer, tinted moisturizer. So we can try that. So, tell me what you're doing your laundry in.
I'm doing my laundry in Arm & Hammer.
Yes, and is that a all free and clear type product?
Yes, it is.
That's really smart. And then just know that dryer sheets, that's one of my other big pet peeves. All dryer sheets, whether they smell or they don't smell, they deposit a chemical on your clothing. That's really rough on your skin.
Okay.
And what happens is, for example, my business partner, my best friend, Josie, she's had perfect skin her whole life. And just recently, it's starting to break out. She's getting adult hormonal acne, right? Well, the dryer sheets aren't making her break out. She's been able to use them for life. But now, when she's starting to have hormonal breakouts, those little triggers that make acne more inflamed, not necessarily break out, but keep them more inflamed, are going to be things that she has to take out of her life, where before it didn't even affect her. So even though it isn't affecting you today, it could affect you later. And it's good to be smart about it,
Okay. I do use dryer sheets, so that might be something I need to maybe
just to look into. And they make these cool balls now that you stick them in the dryer and they bounce all over the place. And that's what we use in our family. And there are other options. So. All right, so let's look at it. So tell me, what brings you here today? If I could fix something, is there anything I could make better for you?
Well, I definitely suffer from dark spots. You can't see it right now because I do have quite a bit of makeup on.
Okay.
But I do have dark spots. I have, kind of blackheads that I would like to kind of correct.
Okay, or minimize. Yep, we'll talk about that.
I just kind of would like to balance out the oil on my skin during the day. And that's the reason why I put oily skin on there, because around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I start noticing that I get kind of like a slick on my forehead, across my cheeks, kind of in the T-zone, but sometimes I feel it all the way even across.
And you don't feel like maybe the oil that you're using from Suki could be producing an oily reaction in your skin later?
I'm not sure because
have you ever taken it out?
I've not used it before.
To see
Yeah, I've always kind of had that same.
So it doesn't make it. It doesn't change it, but it doesn't make it worse.
No.
Thing I can tell you, girl, is I feel like I don't know you extremely well, but let's look at how old you are. Do you mind if I ask?
Oh, sure. I wrote it down. I'm 32.
Okay. Wow, you look so baby young.
Oh,
okay. So listen, this is honestly, I can tell you the number of women that come in here and say, Ann, in their 20s, 30s, late 30s, and I really want to figure out what to do with this oil. 50, 60, 70, and oh my God, I need the oil so bad. You are so blessed to have this oil. And I look at you, and I know there are people that look greasy and unclean, and today I'm going to do some dermaplaning that's going to remove a lot of the cells that actually may be making you feel oily.
Okay.
But you are not oily at all.
Okay.
You need to cherish it because it's keeping you so young, right? And I know it can be kind of like, it may not be so fun for you, or you can say, well, I know, but I don't like it. You can look at blotting pads and doing things that actually gently take the oil away or make it tolerable without stripping it and removing it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes. I definitely feel like I might be stripping with some other products just because I feel tight sometimes. but I also need to help with like blackheads and clearing my skin. So I'm just kind of,
Yeah.
you can tell from all the products that I'm using, I'm trying to figure it out.
All right, anything else I should know about you? What about pressure, or is there any place you don't like to be touched? Or
No. I have a pretty low tolerance for pain, but
Okay.
I don't think that I don't know if we'll be doing any
I
of that today.
won't beat you up.
Okay. But other than that, not really. I don't have sensitive skin or anything. So.
Okay, good. That was the next thing I was going to ask is if you feel like your skin is more sensitive or tough, but I know, and the second question is, does it feel more oily or dry? I feel like I know that answer. All right, well, let's get you set up. We're going to go ahead and go over to the room.